Good evening, good afternoon. I always want to make sure that I'm covering every time zone because we never know when you are viewing this. But for the sake of that, just want to make sure that we're engaging our community. Again, this is our community impact higher conversation, which is always our title. We're getting back on our dean or getting back into our mode of operation. We have been somewhat off this summer doing some other things. We have been attentive with our podcast at the level that we like. And one thing that we're working to double down to make sure no matter what's going on around us, we're going to be committed to bringing you guys honest content where you guys can engage in action that is a purpose driven. We want to make sure that our community have the information, have the knowledge, that they can make sound decisions, sound, responsible, honest decisions that impact their lives, their block, their family, their community to make a difference in this world. What does difference look like? Difference can look many different ways when you're living in Flint of 80,000 people, 87,000 people that vote at 11%, a city that has different government projects, city project, county projects that's going on, where predominantly workers that are hired are Caucasian people that has all the jobs and all the opportunities. And we wonder why our community is in the killing zone or in the crosshairs or crosshairs of just destruction. It's not by accident. It is intentional as far as what takes place in our community. Because you think about power, what kind of power do we really have? As collectively as Black people, what real power do we have? Have any of you guys listening ever been able to name your street? You know, after you develop the grid of a community, you know, from the infrastructure with the sewer system, the roads, all those kind of things, then the houses, then have the power to name a street. That's power. Or like they did us and our ancestors, stripped us of our culture and who we are and gave us their name because we were brutally raped, castrated, and killed for the sake of profit to build this country. And now they want to erase any knowledge that Black people ever existed in America. That all white people are so hurt if you say anything about enslavement or anything about their basic conduct towards another human being. They are so sensitive when it comes to DEI, affirmative action. How do you say collectively, white people from day one, when they took this country from people that was already here, controlled all the levels and levers of power, even develop a constitution that classified us as 3/5 of a human being, and even today, we're still classified in their eyes as worthless. When are we going to wake up? Because one thing Black people do have in this country is power. We may not think about it, but we have some tremendous power. If we stop spending our dollars in these communities, these stores that hate us, if we stop going to ball games and stop allowing our Negroes to play these idiot games, football, basketball, baseball, while they're cutting off our balls, why are we continuing allowing ourselves to be abused collectively in this country? Again, we have some power. If we shut down and directed our money into some simple, basic things for our survival, don't be engaged in no movie, no concert, nothing. Buying nothing, buying no marijuana, buying no cigarettes, liquor, nothing. Just nothing, guys. Straight cold turkey for a month. That would shake the foundation of this country. Don't participate in any commerce. That would shake the foundation of this country. So again, as always, that's always my introduction as far as us being afraid to be black and we want to be white. Number one, and number two, make sure that you are working and walking in the light of Earth, Wind, and Fire. There is a bar in a song uh, by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Uh, it says, "If there ain't no beauty, you got to make some beauty, Lord have mercy." Again, when you think about what we have dealt with for 500, 600 years in this country, we've had to make constantly our own beauty. When you think about the level of brainwashing that when we think of God, we think of a white Jesus. That's all intentional. When we think about what's happening in our community, no resources, it's intentional. When you think about how we continue to pray for a lottery or to hit a lottery, that's intentional. When we praying for an illusion to be made whole again, that's intentional. We don't want to do the work. But I would like to also say that I want to make sure that you guys will work on hugging someone, asking forgiveness from someone you may have hurt, family members reconnect. I want you guys to really think about smiling and speaking to people. Really turn your life around and stop engaging in a lot of talk, videos, all those kind of things, TikTok and all those things that are not adding substance to your life. If it's just entertainment, almost like rap music or like rap R&B music or country or Western music or metal music with Metallica or anything, music tells a story. Music provides a beat. Music is the universal energy of mankind. Music is a tool. So often we get music confused because, again, we've stepped away from our natural order of things and how we're supposed to behave lovingly towards each other. So I want to encourage and motivate you guys to really, really, really focus on speaking. What's up, brother? What's up, sister? Don't mean whatever nationality a person is, but it'd be wonderful to just greet them with a smile. Again, we can do things that don't cost us anything that will bring our community back together because there has been a full court press from day one to divide us, where we have allegiance to our boss or our company, or even like the NFL. The NFL is a racket. The NFL is a racket that has no legal, constitutional obligations to any laws in this country. They make their own laws. They do what they ever want. The NFL does what it wants to do at any time, place. It is an industry with 32 billionaires that make up their own rules and treat their players uh, like they're enslaved. And many of the players are brainwashed and believe those crumbs that they get and the level of destruction of their body that takes place and the temporary glory that they receive and the bigotry and the racism, the sexism, the exploitationism, the bigotry, uh, every foul connotation that you can think of is the NFL and the NBA and most sports, even baseball, to be honest with you. And again, it is a tool for an illusion. Uh, I want to double down. We are working on a program. We are This conversation we have tonight is centered around an upcoming event on September the 27th at our office here, 2712 North Saginaw Street, right next door to Job Corps. Uh, and again, why are we doing this? The title is Community Conversation 101. Let's hear your voice. Let's hear your voice. We believe that our community, just like when you go down to city council, you only get 3 minutes. Just like when you go down to city council, you're harassed by the police. Just like when you go down to city council, even leaving there, nothing is ever done. We believe we're wanting to have a conversation that's going to be centered around 3 topics. And what we want to do is have a conversation with purpose. At the end of our conversation, we want to have some simple things that everybody that attends will be able to do. Choose what you want to do. In a couple of weeks, we're going to come back and have a check-in. Did you accomplish, or did we collectively accomplish what we said we were going to do? We need to see some little wins. So let's think about some little things that we can do by working together to build on building a team of people that support one another, believe in one another, and love one another that can impact our community. How can we change our own community? Flint has always been an amazing community. Flint has always been a spark in the world, let alone lumber, carriage, and then the automobile or the industrial boom that took place. At one time in Flint, Michigan, there was 35 factories, guys. DuPont, when you think about DuPont paint, when you think about DuPont itself, started with explosives, the family of DuPont. And then you think about Midland Dow chemicals. All those things happen here in Michigan that had an impact around the world, you guys. Here and around the world, that's impact. So this is what we're looking for. We want to have a community conversation from 1 to 3, September the 27th, from 1 to 3, right here, 2712 North Saginaw Street. We want one and all to attend. Why are you attending? Again, we want you to have a voice to articulate how you feel about our community and what are some of the solutions. What are you willing to do to be a part of the solution as opposed to just complaining? How do we take matters into our own hands? We were intentionally poisoned. No one, from Snyder to no one, was ever found guilty or went to prison for murder. We were intentionally poisoned. All of us have been poisoned by lead intentionally in Flint, Michigan. What are we doing about it? Why aren't our mayors, our mayoral people, our council people, why aren't they concerned? But all around the country now it's talking about criminality, punishment, law, 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 law. All that's based on a martial type of punitive type of ideology, meaning I'm going to arrest everyone and just a chosen few will be able to live some form of life when you think about this community. So when you say all the resources going to law enforcement, all the resources are going into law enforcement, but nothing into the sustainability of our community, meaning after school programs, community centers, jobs, jobs, jobs. Oh, no, that's not the focus. Because if you provide jobs, you eliminate criminal activity. But no, no, no. There's big $300 billion business what law enforcement doesn't, along with prisons and county jails and all that stuff. It's a $300 billion business. It is a $300 billion business that they want to maintain and expand on. That's intentional because I can expand on being punitive to you, towards you or your group, and put you in these prisons as in predominantly white communities and continue to suffer abuse because in a lot of those jails and prisons, black people are abused and killed in those places. And most of the officers or correction officers get off with killing black and brown people. For some reason, white people love to kill black people. That's amazing, isn't it? White people love to kill and hurt black people. That is a shame. They hate, literally hate us. It's really, man, when you absorb that, when you feel that someone enjoy hating and killing you, that when they see you, they see the enemy. When they interact with you on any kind of commerce or any kind of business, it's disdain for you. When they, any kind of equality, they feel we should not have. They feel we are beneath animals, that we have no right to be alive. And it's their God, meaning their God to me is money, but it's their godly right to kill us. That's their number one business, is to kill, lock up for profit black and brown people, and enjoy it. You know, when you think about it at that term or at that level, you know, the whole reason that we have been born, I don't think anyone that has had the opportunity to be born in the annals of time, and the fact that we have been born by the blessing of our Creator. Uh, and then you have another group that believes we have no right for life, believe that the continent of Africa should be abused and destroyed based on their greed for minerals. That the Caribbean or any area that black people are, we have no right to be in those spaces or no places. And if we are totally to serve or be servants at the pleasure of white. You know, that says a lot about the state that we live in today. And I do believe that collectively, we have the power right here in Flint, Michigan, to adjust how we engage in Flint if we chose to pull our money out of Flint, to really channel our money in a way that benefits us and not support Linden Road, Miller Road, not support these malls or these stores, not to support Detroit, casinos, lottery, and cannabis or dispensaries. We don't own no dispensaries. We don't own no gas station, liquor store. I mean, make that make sense, guys. We don't own, very rarely do we own our own homes, but we literally own nothing and got the nerve to be mad at one another and got the nerve to allow a city council and a mayor's office to have no respect for the residents. And we go along with it. What does that say about us as a people? About us as residents of Flint, Michigan? What does that say? Because the county is white. They tight. Grand Blanc got it's fantastic out in Grand Blanc. They got new everything for their high school out there. State of the art, everything. All the businesses out in Grand Blanc. Make sure they take care of Grand Blanc. It's like those inmates out in the Pierre County. Do you know the Gum Correctional Facility prison changed Lapeer? If you go through Lapeer used to be a country town before prison came. All of those revenues, all those inmates, 1,200 people out there in Lapeer prison, and collectively, because they are locked up, There is money from the federal government that comes to everyone that's there in that prison. But all that money goes to Lapeer County. It doesn't come back to the county or the city that these black people lived in. It goes to the prison and to the county where they're being housed. So again, you think about how white people are able to feed off of black misery and black suffering. And then they say that they're not bigots and they're not prejudiced. It's the pure fact that those, first of all, that the prison is in the pier was intentional, even around the state. Manistee, Marquette, and all them. You know what I mean? No black people live up in those areas, not of any numbers. Ionia, Iowa, Muskegon, all throughout the history since Michigan was taken from Native people. They built these penal institutions. At one time, they did not lock up nor kill black people because black people was property. You don't kill your tractor. You don't lock up your tractor. You don't lock up your sex slave or a woman that you abuse and that you are raping every day. You don't do that. But once 1865 happened, oh, 20, Project 25 took place. They want to talk about Project 25. Project 25 started when this country was taken from people that's already here. Ain't nothing new. They just have manipulated, codified different laws, policies, and procedures to fit their narrative. And their narrative is number one. I want all the power, don't want to share it right now. If it was up to white people, you wouldn't be breathing because they charge you for air. That's their position. Their greed, or like you say, uh, their omnipotence, meaning they're above God, or they believe they're God. And so the fact that they're God, they believe that everyone is beneath them. So you have no right to your right, no human rights. And any rights, policy, processes, or procedures is granted based on them saying that, unless you jump through these hoops, uh, at, at any time, I could charge you with a RICO case. I could charge you with anything that I want you, resisting arrest. I can charge you because you looked at me, just like looking at a white person, you could get arrested. Reckless eyeballs is what they call it in prison. If you look at a white, any kind of way he felt threatened, you could get charged with reckless eyeball, go to the hole. Wow, in this country, if you got caught looking at a white person out in the street, or if you didn't if it be mud on the ground, and you walking, and the white person walking on the sidewalk, you're supposed to get off the sidewalk into the mud, or you're supposed to lay down over the hole so the white person can walk over your back, so they don't get muddy. That's America. That's what this country is. But most black people want to be white, and I think that's part of our real problem. So again, our program, again, we are praying for a wonderful turnout. So what we like, anyone listening to this message is a PSA, public service announcement. A lot of times when you go down to city council, you get 3 minutes. Again, it's not that we're going to give you an hour. We only get 1 to 3 p.m. that we're having this, but we sincerely want you to have a voice. We want you guys to show up as being frustrated at city council and come to this event because we can have more of it where we are analyzing, strategizing, and then developing plans of attack for any situation we're dealing with, from the water to our children killing each other, to the lack of resources, lack of business, job opportunities, commerce, how we can collectively come together and say, well, we only going to shop at this one gas station. Now, again, it may not be owned by us, but we want to have a kind of conversation with the gas station owner to say, well, if you guys will partnership with us, we're going to bring you all the business of Black people in the city, shut down all other gas stations with the help of helping us open up our own gas station. That's the kind of conversation we need to be having. How do we open up our own when at every area in this country, you guys don't want us in your life? You guys don't want to have anything to do with us. So why shouldn't we have our own? You guys are making it very plain. You want your own communities, your own pools, your own golf course. You want to be segregated. You don't want to listen to our music. You don't want us to listen to, I don't know what music you have. So, but anyway, you don't want us doing anything that you do. So we want to be left alone. We want to have our own court system. We want to be governed by our own and not by you. Because there's no fairness dealing with you. And you make it plain and clear every day, flat out. The police was created to protect white property. We as Black people in this country are always been viewed as property. Since there's no need for us anymore, now it's about the pleasure to kill us and to lock us up and to play with us like toys or like it's a game. It's entertainment for you. I understand that. So what we have to do, guys, is we got to start developing some strategies before we die. And then we can choose how we would choose to live and die. Maybe it is time for us to think about migrating out of this country, back to different African countries that are willing to accept us and deal with us where we don't have to deal with tyranny anymore. Maybe it's something that we need to be. Marcus Garvey and them was right. The Black Star Line, we need to bring that back. You know, LeBron James, all these people got their yachts. Maybe we need to melt these yachts down and develop some cruise ship and start having cruise back and forth across the Atlantic to Africa and start migrating our people away out of this country. I know you don't want to have a conversation around that, especially being brainwashed, because, white Jesus is your master. And most white people that you encounter, you feel that they are superior. And you do bend over backwards and allow them to do anything to you because you have that level of fear or that level of awe. However you interpret it, uh, you attack one another, but you won't attack those that are attacking you every day in your life. We send our most precious resources, our children, to the enemy to be educated, and they screw them up. We have our Black men are brainwashing every time they do anything, they're going to get them a white woman. They mother Black, but they going to get a white woman to marry and they get money. That tells a lot about the character of a human being. And then, you have those that will call me racist that look like me and you when they don't even know the definition of racism. Even race, to race as in competition. The human race is a construct that had nothing to do with the humanity and the goodness of loving one another. It always has been skewed to allow one group of people to feel that they're superior based on capitalism and another inferior based on being uneducated, illiterate, dumb and stupid, and being worked to death. Because that's what's taking place on the continent of Africa, many different minerals that are being raped and stolen out of their country. The minerals belong to their company, to their country, but they receive less than 5% of the minerals that comes out of their own ground, 95% go to white people that own the extraction process. Unacceptable. But it's happening right now. What do we do about that? You know, a lot of times we can't think outside of our own situation because we don't want to. We are afraid, number one, to. And then we've been told we have no power. And then you a fool if you call 911. Anybody listening, you guys are a fool if you call 911 for help on anything jumping off. We need to be calling each other. Stop calling the police for help. Setting yourself up, man. Everybody should get a right to bear arms, to get a permit for your weaponry. Understand the laws of Michigan. And again, you have a right to make sure you have your arms and how you're supposed to carry it based on the law. Yes, let's make the law work for us. Other groups do it. So again, these are some areas that we're going to be discussing in different and other uh, uh, conversations because we want our young people. They live in a violent culture. You know, people talk about crime and violence. And it's sad that every movie, every video game, it breeds and it births violence. And then you want to get mad at people for being violent when your DNA was violently taking this country from people that was already here and you blaming the victim for being victimized by you. That is some psychological trickery. It is unacceptable. But that's the game, three-card Molly that we play. So again, definitely want to double down in making sure that this information is clear. Please share this information. Again, community conversation 101. Let's hear your voice. September the 27th, 1 to 3 p.m., 2712 North Saginaw Street. It's very, very, very important that you share this information with others in and around our community. And we are praying that you guys love your community enough. And even if you don't, we want to work on how do we rebirth, reconnect and repair our community with an energy base that will collectively start working together to impact our community for change. This is what we want collectively to happen. We have some goals that we want to build love, compassion, connectiveness, worth, direction, purposeful action in this community that we can see, feel, and taste. That's what we want to do. We're not just meeting for nothing for entertainment. We're meeting with a purpose. And each resident in Flint has a voice. So let's analyze the situation, strategize, and then attack it collectively. So again, in closing, again, my number, again, I'm Brotha Niam Roberts. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter Grassroots Flint, Michigan. It's so important that we continue to do the work that we need to do in the community. Again, my number is 810-394-4105. Email mentorroberts@gmail.com. Again, we can't do anything in this community without all of us working together. And I know sometimes it may be hard and you can't see beyond the trees. But believe it or not, there's so many of you guys that will hear this, that will see this, that want to do something. Want to do something. And there's a lot of work to be done. But we can do some small, little bitty baby steps Some of the baby steps is us learning to love each other and stop being afraid and hating one another. Those are baby steps we can accomplish, guys. Some of the baby steps is we gonna have a moratorium in our community that none of these kids no more killing. That's what I'm talking about. We can do, not the police, not the National Guard, not the mayor's office. What we can do in the community. If we get enough young men involved that's going to help to be engaged in our community, we can have boots on the ground. And if you want to pop the fan, we can be popping the fans in our neighborhoods where we secure in our own neighborhoods, guys. Our own neighborhood watch. That's solution based.